Hello, everyone. We are Roberto Carlos Ramirez and Jeremy Alas, and we will talking about the topic that we are aware of, and is how the COVID-19 pandemic affected different areas, both in health, social, and economic issues. My classmate talking about the introduction.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm going to introduce the topic. In this case, as Roberto already said, we're going to talk about a current problem that is affecting all of us nowadays. In this case, we are talking about COVID-19. And well, we are going to talk about just as in this case, is this pandemic just affecting people on a healthy way, or is it affecting in more ways that the healthy one? So if you want to know the answer for those important questions, please keep watching this video in order to know the answers. And well, we are going to explain you some of the current problems that nowadays we have in El Salvador as well. So in this case, we are going to start talking about what is COVID-19 and also when it started. So, well, I don't know if you have heard about the COVID-19. I think that is a topic that, well, we are all of us are familiar with. And also this pandemic or this illness has been known also as the coronavirus, right? And well, the first case that was identified was on December 2019 and was identified on China. I think that all of us know that it started on China. So yes, we already investigated about the topic, and yes, was started on China on a supermarket, let's call it. And also at the beginning did not have the name as COVID-19. It was known as Wuhan pneumonia due to was found on the Wuhan supermarket as well. So the World Health Organization declared like a public emergency or as a pandemic on January 30 from 2020, and also was recognized as a pandemic on March 11 from 2020 because we reported millions of deaths, also millions of cases per day, not per month, was in this case daily in 154 countries. So, well, we have investigated about that information. Also, well, has been affected just on a healthy way because it's an illness, right? Well, the answer is no. It has been affecting an emotional way, for example, students and also workers. We have identified that, for example, with students, the 50% of them having indicate that the pandemic, in this case, have been affected negatively. For example, well, we investigate and says that it affects like they provide them like anxiety, also fear, a lot of stress, sadness, also insomnia, depression, loneliness. That feeling that is not good, right? That has been affected in a negative way for the most of the people. Also, we have heard about, I don't know, some people that had that with the anxiety, they started to eat a lot, right? So that was affecting them in that way. And also the word of the world also has been deeply affected by the global virus pandemic. For example, I heard some experiences on the way. Let's talk about call center, for example, that were on training process due to the pandemic. They were not able to go to the site anymore, so that stopped. So in this case, workers did not have any job anymore. So now we are going to hear Roberto's opinion that he is going to go deeply on this topic as well.
Okay, thank you. In my point of view, with the emergency and expansion of the pandemic, was so accelerated that the World Health Organization played a very important role before, during, and after the pandemic, due to the seriousness of the problem worldwide, and this began to generate massive losses in the economy with the closure of air and land border. In our country, the pandemic seriously affected many companies, especially private and land border companies compared to government companies. In this case of private companies, most job could not be done completely from house, and it was when economy income began to decrease drastically, and because of that, many employees of the private company were fired. In the case of travel agency and tourists, they have been severely damaged in our country. This being one of the main factors in the rise of the internal economy of our country, because it was possible to observe an internal economy increase that came from tourists that was being developing in a positive way, because it began to generate jobs in many tourist areas, since El Salvador became now as a safe country to travel. And with the pandemic, the airline were forced to cut and suspend flight due to the cancellation of closure of border. It is also worth mentioning that with the arrival of the pandemic, unemployment increased, and this indirectly related to the internal economy, because without money, jobs cannot be generated. In some government jobs, it was also very difficult, because in the case of military, police, doctor, and nurses, they had to work double time due to the seriousness of the pandemic. The increases in many cases get out of control, and it was very evident in how the pandemic affected these work areas. There were very few jobs that could be carried out in a normal way, because the weakness of these work areas were evident. And I can mention the education sector. For teachers was a huge challenge, because not everyone was trained to put the use of technology into practice in education, showing deficiency in the use of technological tools such as computer, virtual platform, and social network to continue teaching from home. It means the quality of education was poor in many sense, due to different kind of difficulty that both a student and teacher had, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing your opinion, Roberto. And I think, well, I am totally agree with you, because on the education area, I think that was very difficult also for teachers and also for students, because, for example, for students, they were accustomed to go to the school, also be with them classmates, go to play, for example, on the break to the field, to the basketball field, to those things, right? So from the night to the morning, they were not able to do it anymore because it was prohibited, right? So yes, that has been affected in a negative way. And you're totally right. So now that we have been talking about negative consequences, let's talk about if COVID-19 have any positive consequences. I think at the beginning that was not possible, because I think that it affected a lot to all of us. But believe me or not, well, positive consequences that it has to us was the boon in creativity, because millions of people do they have like in this case more time to be alone. They have the opportunity to be creative. Also, they use the social media in order to share details of how they found a new hobby, including like reading, also baking, knitting, painting. For example, I started to bake, so I wasn't able to do it anymore because, well, before, because I did not have time. But with the quarantine and with the pandemic, I started to do it as well. And we have less pollution because we were not able to go out anymore. So we did not use like cars, the bus, those things that cause pollution. And also in China and also in Italy, well, the pollution also I read on an investigation and also was very, very less. So what do you think about that, Roberto?
Some positive effect of the pandemic could be many families were able to share more time together and carry out many activities such as eating together at different meals time, helping their children with homework, cooking, watching television. And another very important aspect was that our planet had a temporary rest during the pandemic because not too much garbage was generated. The air quality was very good because there were not many vehicles in circulation, and that was a pleasant respite for our planet. Another positive aspect that I can mention was that many people, due to the pain of losing a family member, suffered a lot, and that made them have a religious approach to be able to have consolation through prayer.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for sharing your opinion, Roberto. And well, in a summary, this is our video. We already talked about the first question that we provided to you before at the beginning. Well, we already found the answer for those questions. Is this pandemic just affecting people in a healthy way? No, this is affecting us on a healthy way because it's an illness, so obviously it's going to affect our health. Also, it has been affecting us in an emotional way and also in an economic way. So, well, this is our video. So, well, thank you for watching it.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Good opinion.